Synthetic Aesthetic, the Fedora tipper,
Yep.
Chad Fedora tipper versus Jefflol, the defender of the faith. So we're just gonna do some like opening statements first. Who wants to start? Jefflol, Synthetic, you want to start?
You start.
Synthetic can
I
go.
mean, I guess you can. Oh, you want me to start?
Yeah, you can start with your
Okay,
opening
Synthetic
statement.
starts.
Yeah. I guess my biggest thing would probably be that what was it? The argument of silence. Yeah, that one. So if God wants to be able to convert people into his faith, he wouldn't leave it to infallible humans to be able to be interpreted probably in the wrong way or even misinterpreted at all. It just seems silly that all this nonsense that of people talking to God or God talking to them in very, very direct means, like from the heavens, from a burning bush. I mean, you gotta be really high to see a bush talk. And probably through thoughts and prayers and all that stuff, or through angels. And none of that happens now. It seems a little weird. But I just think that if, with the advent of atheism rising, you would think that he would, an omnipotent being capable of really anything, would be able to just make it so that to reverse this decline of faith. I guess that'll be it.
Okay, so go over what I'm getting from you is you've kind of combined two popular arguments against Christianity into one. The one that there are no miracles currently happening today, and the other being God is hidden from us, right?
Yeah, the silence.
Okay. So let's go over God being hidden. So first of all, before I get in this, I want to ask you a couple of questions, and then I'll go and respond to them. The most important question I can ask you is, if Christianity were true, would you become a Christian?
I mean, sure.
Okay, because I don't waste my time with people that answer no to that question.
Yeah, I'm not anti-theist at all. I already hate gays. I like and I hate premarital sex. So I mean, pretty much the blocks are all aligned.
Okay, so what do you mean when you say hidden? Like, because as a transcendent spiritual being, God would not be visible to human eyes, correct?
Yeah, he exists in the fifth dimension, which is beyond
No, he
time,
doesn't.
physical space. Yeah, he's
No, he
beyond
does not. He does
physical
not
reality.
exist in a physical realm.
Yeah, that's what that is. That
That's
a
not. No,
extra
first of
dimension
all, the fifth
above.
dimension is not non-physical.
Yeah, it is.
As that,
It's because
then it's not a dimension. It's not.
yeah,
It's a realm of
it's not a
reality,
physical
right?
dimension. Yeah,
It's a realm in
I'm
the
very aware of it.
universe. You can't.
Yeah, I guess
And
it really depends how you interpret God, because there are people who think of it as a force and not, and then there are some who personify God as a man, like their
no,
grandpa.
I see God as a force.
Okay,
So,
that'll
so,
be a lot
but,
of debate.
but space is technically something, right? And the fifth dimension exists in space. So,
Yeah, there is no such thing as like nothing in the pure absolute sense.
well, I mean, there can be,
I
but we just
guess.
can't. We can't understand that concept, or we can understand the concept, but we don't actually. We can't fully understand what it actually is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so because he's hidden, first of all, how is that necessarily an argument against Christianity? Like, are you asking why God is hidden?
No, I'm stating that he's hidden. There being a
Well,
like
I don't think
strange.
he's necessarily completely hidden. I think he's
Well,
hidden
there's
to the
that.
human eye. We can't like see him. We can't see a photo of him, but I don't think he's necessarily hidden.
I guess his presence would be. I don't know, but it's just weird that there aren't any miracles and there's he really doesn't beam his thoughts into you or he doesn't reveal himself and really even in any direct indirect way. I mean the people who like claim to see God and stuff, they can't repeat that at all, so it's like, how are we supposed to know that that's something they saw, or was it just a hallucination? Or
So I guess the best way to put this is that God must be approached through the eyes of faith, but that doesn't mean that there's no evidence for his existence. We see his effects everywhere in the design of DNA, the grand structure of the universe, and the knowledge of objective law, whatever. Like, I don't. We can see like the actions of God through other lenses without directly seeing.
Yeah, it just seems really suspect. You have to kind of believe in something before you really can actually have him reveal
Well,
himself to you.
that's not entirely true.
It's like
What do you
going,
mean?
you
I
know,
think God has
into
already revealed himself. I don't even see him as hidden.
I
I
don't see
see.
him at all. I mean, it's like believing in something before you can actually see proof of it is like going into a I don't know, like a pitch for an Indiegogo and then giving you all your you give them their money before you even see the product. It's just silly. Like you would agree that that's silly to do. So why would I put my entire life and believe in something that I can't prove exists until I believe it exists before I know it exists?
Are you talking
It
about
just
just directly the concept of God?
Oh, not even just speaking of God. It's just like these. There's no miracles. He hasn't revealed
Whoa,
himself.
wait. How do you know
I
that?
guess it could be God.
Wait, how do you know there's no miracles?
Well, the thing that so the miracles are usually just stuff that's usually very easily explained and rationalized. Like, oh look, a Christian flag is waving in almost a non-existent wind, and it's like, or it's just made of nylon and it was really thin, and you could barely detect the wind at that altitude. I mean,
That's
it's
not
just
that's not the miracles I'm necessarily talking about. And just because that, even for example, if we say that there are no miracles today, does that mean that they couldn't have happened in the past?
I mean, we have. I mean, what the Bible? I mean, that's.
No, well, but just because saying you don't see miracles today doesn't mean that they're impossible.
I mean, I guess. I mean, that's. I'm not going to say that just because there's absolutely no evidence doesn't mean that it isn't possible. But it's usually just stuff that we can't repeat at all.
Well,
It's usually
I feel
easily
like we live in
rationalized.
a miracle currently.
Oh, America's falling apart. The white
No,
population is dying.
I'm
Atheism
not
is on the rise.
I'm not talking about the
God's
world. I'm
words are
talking about the
playing.
universe itself.
Oh, that. I mean, I guess that a miracle. It's.
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't
it
know
is a
about that.
miracle that like life even exists in the universe.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't proven life exists in the universe. We very
Well,
well
we
could be
have
the only
proved
ones there.
life
But
exists in the
it's,
universe because we
it,
exist.
yeah. I mean, I guess it's aside from us, it's probably statistically impossible for that to be another identical life form. But
Not
the
exactly.
miracle of life, I don't think would be something that like would really be necessarily an argument because that can also be explained with chance. I'm not entirely sure about the like the. Well, actually, I have read Genesis. Uh, man, Genesis is funny. It being brought about by a large explosion, or God somehow creating night and day before He makes the sun. I'm gonna go with the one that doesn't, fall on its feet.
What do you mean it falls on its feet?
So in Genesis, they talk about how there's like what, like this. There's I'll turn off my light. There's sunlight before there's a sun, and day
Well,
and
it
night
talks
before
about
there's
day
a
night,
moon.
right?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's,
but it's literally talking about God created the days and the nights. He created the concept of time. Really.
yeah. I mean, he didn't talk about time. He talked about the days and night.
Well, what do you think the days and nights are? It's just a progression of existence. As the days and the nights go, time progresses forward.
No, time and change are two different things. So
No, no, they're
yes,
not.
yes, they are.
Nothing
You can
can
have
change.
change without
Nothing. You
time.
can't. No, you cannot have change if there is no time.
I'm pretty sure you can because
Explain.
you
No,
can.
explain. Can
Okay.
you show me one time that change has happened without time?
Yes. Look at the half life of pretty much any chemical that or metal that has a long half life. You'll probably sit there for a dozen years and literally nothing will happen. Uh,
Okay.
even at subatomic level.
Wait,
Yeah,
I'm
just
saying can change.
change.
Wait. No, my point was that there can be no change if there isn't time going on.
I guess.
No, that's
I don't think
true. Because if time isn't moving
uh,
forward, then we're just all stuck and we can't do
yeah,
anything.
and there's no
Because
change.
time is
There's no
simply the
time.
progression of existence, right? There's nothing more, nothing
Sorta, I
less.
guess. What I will say though is that it does. I don't know. It both of those talk about like everything being sort of about like what was it? The miracle of life. It's not really a miracle if it was predestined. It's not really. And then there's
Wait.
miracle.
What? What do you mean? It's not a
Yeah. So
miracle if it was
yeah,
predestined.
well, the miracle of life argument doesn't really like take into account that evolution and the Big Bang can also explain these things. There doesn't need to be a god
Wait.
for all of this.
w-
So
Yes,
yeah,
sir. Okay. So
yeah.
this is what I'm getting. So really quick, what is your definition of atheism?
Oh man, that's semantics. Okay, so A as in not, and then theism as in the belief in a higher power. So not theism,
Well, I
not
understand, but some
not.
people. So you think it's just merely a lack of belief in God?
Yeah, it's just merely a lack of belief.
I disagree.
I'm not anti-theist because
No, I
anti-theist would mean
disagree. I disagree with that definition.
yeah, I'm not anti-theist
No, I
because
disagree with your definition. I don't think that's what you actually believe in. I
what a
don't think that's
lack
what
of
any
faith.
atheist actually believes. No, I think it's more than just lack of faith. Because if atheism is merely a lack of belief in God, then atheism is merely a claim about the atheist state of mind, not a claim about whether God really exists or not.
The state of mind. I don't know
If
about
hold on,
that.
so if the atheist is only making claims about his psychological state and nothing about the real world, then he's not proving any claims or evidence that we can examine. So he's not provided us with any reason to believe in atheism.
I mean, like what? So there are things that we have that are exist as proof.
Hmm.
There's like what was it? Like my favorite one is some of the stuff that was in the Bible for Christianity that were actually false scientific statements, like the behavior of ants not being autocratic and the classification of bats being included as birds, even though they're not birds. Um, I think there is plenty of
Okay.
evidence for atheism. So if you
Yeah, I would
maybe not
like
evidence
again.
for it, yeah, maybe not technically for atheism, but maybe against Christianity as pretty much, I guess, in general. Like, what was the other one?
Okay, so but
I guess they're kind of existing for a
if
void.
atheism is merely a lack of belief in God, then why do atheists insist reality can be explained without God by means of evolution, quantum theory, or multiple universes? You
Because we can
understand,
observe.
none of those atheistic arguments actually succeed, but the fact that atheists offer them show that they don't merely just lack belief in God, but they have positive reason to believe God doesn't exist. So atheism is not merely a lack of belief in God, but a belief that all reality can be explained without God. Therefore, atheists do have a burden of proof to explain how reality can be the way it is
Yeah,
without God. Okay, so
yeah, yeah,
please
yeah.
explain to me how reality can exist without God.
We have carbon dating. That's probably a big one.
Wait,
Whether you want to believe that,
what do you mean
Satan
carbon
put.
dating?
I'm talking here. So whether
Okay.
we have, whether fossils were put in the ground by Satan to deceive the non-believers, which is
Dude,
sadly
I'm
unlikely.
not saying that. That's a
I know. It's
retorted
just,
statement, and I don't deny evolution either.
yeah. I just think it's funny to mention that because there are people who unironically believe that,
Well, I
and it
understand. I understand
cracks
there's
me up.
stupid Christians out there, but it's not me.
Carbon dating probably is probably the biggest evidence for like atheism and such because when you think about how the ark, the flood, the firmament, all that stuff collapsing down, how would the dinosaurs get on there? We also have proof of wooden ships being very much not incapable of being I guess water, like whatever the word for water ready is. But I'd imagine that if you add elephants, dinosaurs, triceratopses, and all these animals that kill each other into that mix, it just wouldn't make sense at all.
So,
So I guess that's
so
probably my
is your
favorite
argument
evidence.
going to be going on the Noah's Ark and like the seven? God created the earth in 7 days.
I mean, I guess because that's one
Okay,
of my other
sure.
favorites.
So Noah's Ark can be interpreted in different ways. Very few people actually take like all of the ark necessarily 100% seriously. I'm not the most informed on the flood, but I do believe there was a flood during that time that has been reported in all cultures throughout the world.
I mean,
Um,
uh,
and and again, evolution that doesn't really that doesn't really disprove anything. And the 7 days thing can be very easily explained with Psalm chapter 90 verse 4, where it says that 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night, basically saying that God's interpretation of time is much different from ours.
Yeah, I mean, he's an omnipotent being. You know, he can.
Exactly. So
can
when
read
God
everything.
says He created the earth in 7 days, what does that really mean? It could be a million years, it could be billions of years, it could have been a single minute. I don't know. But
Yeah, I
from
mean, I guess when you look at it, there are new Earth creationists and old Earth creationists. So I'm very aware of that. The fact that there's an argument between that actually kind of makes me wonder if a God does exist, because you'd think he'd be able to unite everyone's rhetoric under the same exact banner, but it's not.
no, but God gave us like will to choose.
Yeah, the sin argument's also really interesting. When you think about how there is no sin in heaven, but sin was created to allow man to have a sort of degree of free will, then there's no free will in heaven because you can't
Yeah,
sin.
there is no free will in heaven.
So if I can't beat my meat to big fat titties in heaven, why should I even bother?
Okay, but there is no free will in heaven.
Yeah, there isn't. I mean,
You are unable to sin.
you basically die and become subservient and assimilate. So it's kind of a not really a fun
Okay,
existence.
cool.
I mean, at least
And
hell lets
I
me,
mean, I don't know. It's
be
eternal happiness. It
agonizing in
seems pretty cool.
however way I want. um, yeah. What was it? My favorite one is the carbon dating, though, because I guess unless you're a new Earth creationist, it's probably pretty damning. Because how would all these different animals get like put under all this different like stuff? All this like stuff is probably not a very technical term. Dirt, sediment, rocks, blah blah blah. How would they get under all that if there was only a single flood? We can have millions of floods because we've had tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of periods of life: the Cambrian, the Jurassic, the Triassic. The dozen floods, and because of how thick these different sedimentary layers are for this carbon dating, uh, I don't know. The flood just seems weird. We also don't have any evidence to point to the firmament existing. Even I don't think even the Bible really does much effort to try. But I feel like a giant layer of water around the Earth would probably be a big deal.
Okay.
I think they also talked about that and sort of like how rain exists. I think that's the justification for it. I'm not sure.
Well, I don't. It's typically not the point I go on when I talk about religion or God itself. It's like,
The geological stuff, yeah, I'm no geologist either. All I
sorry, I
know is,
missed that.
I said, yeah, I'm no geologist either. All I know is about the sedimentary and the igneous, and that's about it.
All right, sure. So I guess I would like to move on and give you a basic argument for God.
Well, we can't move on.
Wait,
You know,
why? What are you trying to move on from? I think I've answered
well,
your questions, have I not?
what the firmament existing? I mean, I
I
don't
I
think
never
there's
said
anything.
I don't know much about the firmament. I'm gonna be
Yeah, the
honest. I'm
firmament.
not gonna be able to talk about that.
I'm not sure entirely sure what all the different rhetoric is for it, but the firmament, from what I understand, from when I was a kid, when it was taught, was that it was a sort of reasoning for how the flood just kind of came about. God didn't just stick his index finger on the ground and just water came out and just large gushes like a big giant piss. Uh, and it just kind of he just collapsed the firmament and it just flooded the earth. So that's from my understanding. I don't maybe sure that's different in the Orthodox. I don't know.
Okay.
Kind of weird though. Kind of sucks that the different sects of Christianity kind of make debating it really hard because it's like I'll say something that comes from a sort of Baptist Wesleyan deal, and then it's just like I don't know about that. It's Orthodox. I'm Orthodox, nigga.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. You could debate Protestants, but debating Protestants is really easy.
Oh
So,
god. Yeah, it's easy. It's where I got all my training from.
so
You guys want to move on to like a argument for theism?
yes, that's what I was wanting to do.
Yeah, I guess we can do that. Yeah.
All
The
right. So
theology stuff.
I'd like to give out my basic argument for God real quick. Okay.
Okay.
So this is just what I typically say. We can move on from here, but scientific evidence shows that space, time, and matter exploded into being out of literally nothing. The impossibility of an infinite regress of time also shows that time must have had a beginning. If there was an infinite number of days before today, then today would have never gotten here. Since today is here, there were only a finite number of days before today, which means time had a beginning. Since space, time, and matter had a beginning, there must be spaceless, timeless, immaterial, and super powerful cause beyond the universe that brought the universe into existence. Those are all attributes given to God in Genesis 1.
Genesis 4. Yeah. I think the only thing that I could say is that maybe the scientific stuff is a little bit out on the beginning of time, since it's more of a developing story.
Well, no,
What I
we know that time must have had a beginning. We can just use logic to determine that. We don't even need to use science.
Well, I don't know. I mean, to say it has a beginning would imply that, like, God had a beginning.
No, it doesn't.
Like what? Oh, that's right. He exists beyond time. I forgot about that.
Hold on. Well, yeah. So the whole who created God argument, like, if an eternal God exists, why do you think he would need a cause?
I don't know. Probably the same cause of our entire existence would need.
Okay, cool. So, but the law of
Yeah.
causality does not mean that everything has a cause. It just means that everything that has a beginning has a cause. And if the God didn't have a beginning, then he doesn't need a cause. The universe we know must have had a beginning because time exists. Because today is here, there must have been a finite number of days before today.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense, I suppose. But I highly doubt that what was it, 7 days?
Well,
know,
again,
is
the 7 days
scripture-
in the eyes of God is like a million years, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, well, where is that in the scripture? I mean, I haven't seen it. I'm not saying
It's Psalm chapter 90, verse 4.
Psalm 90, chapter 4. Well, I mean, could you link it so I don't have to hold this up to look for it?
Okay.
Because I'd like to not send you a version and that'd be the wrong version. I use KJV, and I mean, I know it's like almost universally accepted, but there's sometimes critics.
Well, it's pretty much the same throughout all verses. There you go. You just go to Bible Hub. They shows you different verses.
No, okay. Hello, KJV. Your sight are like yesterday when it is past, and like a watch in the night. Oh, the New International Version. That one's probably a little bit better. I don't know. Does there like context for it being in context of God?
What do you mean? You can go over the whole verse. I can do that if you're
Yeah.
the whole chapter. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because I've never seen this one before.
So, the start of Psalm 90, verse 1 says a prayer of Moses, the man of God. Lord, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You turned people back to dust, saying, return to dust, you mortals. 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night.
So it's basically 1,000 times 7, right?
No, what the verse is saying is that time, like God's taken time, isn't ours. He can freely move through it as he pleases. He can do whatever, or he has all power. He's omnipotent.
So
So
there's absolutely no point where he explains how long life took. He just says that he just made it, and it's kind of wishy-washy in the exact wording on that.
I mean, you could put it that way. Yeah, it's a bit wishy-washy, but
Because
it's just saying that like 7 days, like 7 days in the eyes of God could be whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was a significant amount of time without sunlight, which makes just silly that somehow he would just.
What do you mean?
Yeah, he made the sun, the moon, and blah blah blah, all this in 7 days. So that means there was a course of time where there was at points where there was no sunlight.
Okay, yeah, time can exist without sun.
Nah, I mean, I guess, but I don't think.
No. It's not a guess.
That's
That's an objective truth.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that. I mean, sure, time can exist without the sun, but human life or life in general really can. I think.
Well,
what was it?
Well, sure, yeah, life can exist without the sun.
Yeah, so there was a significant amount of time.
Okay, sure, but
millions
time
of years.
existed before life.
Okay. but it doesn't explain how life came to be. It's just he made everything in 7 days. But if it's
What do
over
you
the course of
mean?
thousands of millions of years, that means there was no sunlight for ungodly amounts of time, and then he just,
What do
I
you
don't
mean?
know, it just seems silly. And
What do
then
you mean
Adam
there
and
was no
Eve had to live throughout all of that in complete darkness. Okay.
Dude, what?
Yeah, as you were saying, that it took a significant amount of time. There's something, 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 thousands of years, 7 days. That means there's significant
You
amount of time
understand Adam
for
and Eve were created after the sun, right?
created after sun. So there's, I
Like,
get, like, I'm gonna look
we
at it.
do just use logic here. You understand that like, life can't exist without the sun.
Not really.
No, it can. Human life,
I guess,
we would literally die if the sun went out in like
yeah,
30
you would.
minutes.
In like, probably in weeks. That's why I'm saying that it took, if there was all this time where there was no sunlight, it's like, what, did the plants just spring out of nowhere? Is that their
Oh,
explanation?
there was times in the Earth where there was very little sunlight and such. Like,
Dang.
what do you mean? Like, I'm a bit confused with what you're like trying to argue here.
I'm just saying, I mean, there's just a significant amount of time. Oh wait, yeah, no, the sun. What? Yeah, I don't think they existed without the sun. They had to, they
The
had to have
Bible
been.
doesn't claim that life existed before the sun.
I'm gonna look into that.
I mean, it's like it's one of the first chapters, and it's like the literal first chapter of
You
the
guys just
Bible.
want to move on to like a other point. It seems like this isn't really.
I don't know. No, I think this is a good point to go on. I just don't think he's making a good argument right now.
Yeah, and God let us make him and our man out of our image, the likeness. He doesn't say anything about it after the sun.
What?
Heaven and the earth, is that what that's supposed to reference?
Okay. Do you know
I think this is
about
the
the 6 days and the Lord rested on the seventh? Right.
I mean, I'm looking right
You're
at it right now.
you're aware
Genesis
of what?
1.
Okay, sure.
Warm and void and darkness is upon the face of the deep. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. There was light. Lots of light. It was good. Blah, blah, blah.
That's the first thing that
Firmament in the
like
midst of the
God
waters.
said,
Let
"Let there
divide the
be
waters from the
light."
water. Yeah. Made the firmament, divide the waters which were under the firmament. We have no proof the firmament exists. Call the
Okay.
firmament heaven. Okay. The waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. He doesn't talk about the sun coming out at all.
What do
Well,
you think "Let there be light" means?
called the light day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sun
Light
being
day, the
created.
darkness he called night. He called morning. The third day. I don't know.
"Let there be light" literally references the sun. It's like what
I'm
it's
reading
talking
it.
about. Dude, what? And
I'm
God said, "Let there
reading.
be light," and there was light.
I'm reading.
Okay.
The lesser light to rule the night. Oh, right. That's the moon, I guess. Fourth day. Yeah, that there was a significant amount of time without light. That sucks. But he made that in the fourth day. Ooh, man. Uh, evening and the morning were the fourth day. Yeah, there was a significant amount of time without the sun before plants.
You don't want to move on?
I'm
We can
still
move on for a
reading.
second. Well, all right. I have a couple questions for you. Do you think science yields truth,
Science heals truth.
or do you think only science yields truth?
Science heals truth. I mean,
Only science.
we pretty sure it has. It's the only thing that can have reputable, repeatable, empirical evidence.
Is that a scientific truth?
Yeah, that's a scientific method. You repeat things until
Wait,
they're
no, it's
repeatable.
not. The
Yes, it
claim that
is.
science is the source of all objective truth is not a scientific truth. That's a philosophical claim.
What?
The claim science is the source of all objective truth is not a scientific truth. That's a philosophical claim.
So you're trying to make an argument for what do you know is true,
Well,
therefore
I'm saying that not all truth comes directly from science. You know that.
that just seems really vague.
No, it's really not.
It really
only
is.
science yields truth is a very specific question. I can't make it
No,
any more
because
simple.
science is really just a vague term that encompasses a lot of studies. I mean, there's a lot of being a scientist doesn't mean that you're just the guy who just knows the stuff.
No, I'm saying I'm talking about science itself. I'm not talking about scientists are the ones that yield truth. I'm talking about science. It's a scientific method.
Right.
The only way to yield truth.
So if science is bullshit, then why is that you don't pray away the gay? And why doesn't that work?
Wait, I'm not saying science is bullshit. No.
Science cures the cold. Science, does the hard
I'm saying that it's not the only thing that yields truth. Because if you say only science yields truth, that's self-defeating. As with a lot of other claims I hear from atheists, like truth is relative, there's no objective truth,
there is no absolute truth. There is no absolute truth.
Are you absolutely sure?
That would be a fallacious claim. So no.
Wait. Yeah, that's a self-defeating claim.
Not really, because
no, it is because the claim that there's no absolute truths is an absolute truth. That's the claim. By saying there is no absolute truths,
I never said that there was absolutely no absolute truth, because that's a double.
So you're not absolutely sure.
A double negative turns into a positive, because that's how grammar works.
Wait, no.
So
but saying there's no absolute truths is absolute truth of a claim. That's so self-defeating. Dude.
That's just a semantical, gotcha argument.
It's not. Well, it's not. How about it is a gotcha argument, but it's not like it's saying there's no absolute truths. Isn't that an absolute truth?
No.
How?
Because I never said that there is absolute truth of any kind.
You said there is no absolute truth. You said there is no absolute truth.
There's no absolute truth. It's a fact. If I tell you that gravity...
Wait. If it's a fact, then it's an absolute truth. Therefore, it's self-defeating, dude.
Are you going to stop interrupting me? I did way more than
Go ahead, dude. Explain, but it just seems really dumb.
Okay, so when we talk about the absolute truth, we talk about it in terms of basically what we understand. So if I were to tell you that gravity exists, you'd be like, okay, well, hey, retard, look at deep space, checkmate. Because, right, there is no gravity in space. There's, different quantifiable and measurable differences in different planets, gravity. If I said, gravity is, 1.6, what was it? 1.63 meters per second or whatever I think it's like the velocity of something falling from space. If I were to say that, no, that's not true in the moon. There's no absolute truth. If I told you that I'm wearing a black shirt today,
I can give you a disprovable absolute truth.
I couldn't even tell you that I exist, because I could be dead in 60, 70 years. Cool. So I'm not absolutely existing.
But the absolute truth is that something exists.
That's so incredibly vague. What the fuck?
Well, yeah, but that is an absolute truth.
Just interject.
So something exists. Okay. Yeah. Once we read,
Brigadier kind of had a good guiding thing in general chat for the discussion. You guys want
2 questions. What is the basis for drawing the distinction between absolute truth and the limitation of truth to a single field?
If I told you my shirt's black, it's gonna be black until I wake up tomorrow and wake up tomorrow and change my shirt. Or
but your shirt is still black.
Currently, yes.
Not the one that. No, I'm not talking about because you're putting on a different shirt. That shirt you own is black.
Yeah, currently. I guess that's
okay. Wait, how? But that's an objective. It's an absolute truth.
Yeah,
it's absolutely black.
Because I could just, tomorrow it could just, I could drop it in paint sometime, and then it's not red, it's not black no more, or it gets mixed up with the colors, which then it's maybe a little bit like gray. It being
No, but that's not what
true
absolute
means that
truth is.
yeah, absolute truth means
No,
that it
absolute
always
truth.
100% always be like that. There's objective truth, which
No.
is that my shirt is currently black today. That yes, that is objectively true because I can verify it by taking pictures of it. That's verifiable, so it's objective. I guess what theism wants is an objective truth, objective morality. But there is no morality sewn into the
Okay,
universe.
but again,
There's
I
no sort of
think
absolute truth.
the absolute truth claim that there is
You
no
know how I
absolute
can
truth, as I
you
said
know how
before, is self-defeating.
You know how I can prove that? There's 30,000 sects of Christianity. If there was absolute truth, there'd only be one.
Dude, what? You
I mean,
understand
is it
people
not
can be
true?
wrong. That's not what absolute truth means.
Yes, absolute truth means it is a verifiable fact.
Wait, no. Absolute truth
And you
means
can
there
absolutely.
is a truth. There is an absolute
You're
truth.
interrupting me again.
I'm not really
Absolute truth.
interrupting you, Dylan.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
really.
Just go. Just go up.
Let's just speed this along. Synthetic, make your point.
Okay, so if there was absolute truth, there wouldn't be 30,000 sects of Christianity. There wouldn't be dozens of interpretations of something that's supposed to be absolutely true. Pretty sure if absolute truth existed in a theistic manner, there would be no other religions, there would be no other sects, and it makes you kind of wonder who is right. If there's an absolute truth, who else has the absolute truth? Because it just seems like that everyone has the absolute truth. Islam, Hinduism, because it's not really the absolute truth if you can't verify it in terms of other religions who claim to have the absolute truth. As Richard Dawkins once said, everyone's atheist to a degree. It's just that some of us are just, take it one God further. There is no absolute truth, guy.
Okay, so there is, though. And I can explain. Does something exist? No. Answer the question.
No,
Does something
because
exist?
in an absolute context, we could have a Kugelblitz tomorrow or a great Go event next day and within hours. And the Kugelblitz would literally encompass literally everything. I don't know if you know
sure,
what that
but
is.
then
You know what?
something would exist still.
No, because
Wait,
you know what?
wait.
For the folks that are in the back that are unsure what a Kugelblitz is, it's German for light destruction. So what would happen is light would literally have so much energy in such a small mass that its mass would literally cause a black hole and a heat death of the universe, warping gravity and destroying literally every single ounce of matter in the universe.
You
And it
think,
would happen
but
at an exponential rate.
energy
So
cannot
there
be
would be
destroyed.
nothing. There would be nothing.
That
There'd
goes
be
against the first laws of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be destroyed.
I know it can be vaporized, so I
No,
guess
energy cannot be created nor destroyed. Energy cannot be created nor
That's what
destroyed.
I was talking about. It can be vaporized.
Yeah, but where would it go?
That's a
Where would it
state
go?
of matter.
Oh,
But
so it is a state of matter. It still
actually,
exists.
you
So
know what?
matter exists.
Maybe I bet. I mean, we don't understand black holes entirely. So I imagine if what if it leads somewhere? I don't know. All I know is that if a
Well, it
Google
doesn't
Blitz
lead
happened,
anywhere.
I'm pretty sure something existing is probably the weakest argument you have.
No,
for
not
theism.
really, not really, because
So something
again, a
exists.
Kugel Blitz would not destroy energy.
I guess, but the
Yeah,
something
therefore
exists
energy
argument
still
really isn't.
exists. Therefore
Something
something
exists
exists.
argument
Therefore
really
that's an
not going to get
absolute
you.
truth.
What I want to know is how is this something exists argument gonna get you to God? I just really want to know.
Well, saying there's no absolute truths can, like, again, be used to the absolute truth of God, whatever. You can say, well, there is no absolute truths, therefore God is not an absolute truth. Absolute truths are very important, and I'm just testing
Because they don't happen.
testing and trying to understand how your logic actually works. Like, how do you
No,
logically think? Because
I
by
think this
saying
is
there's
just
no
being a
absolute
semantic.
truths, first of all, that's self-defeating. Second of all, I think, therefore, something exists. Therefore, that's an absolute truth that something exists. And the first laws of thermodynamics points that
Something.
energy cannot
That's
be created nor destroyed. We know energy exists.
that's talking about the vague concept of something. Something is even
Okay,
really.
well, that vague
Like,
concept, no, but that's not just a
that doesn't
vague
mean anything,
concept.
literally.
There's a
Yeah.
difference of most things are not
Anything
absolute
can
truths
exist.
versus
Oh,
there
what a-
is no universe or absolute truths.
So you're gonna. So there's like so something exists. That's
Yeah,
just
that's a,
incredibly
that
vague.
no, yeah,
That's,
but that's an absolute truth. Therefore, your claim
you
is
know
wrong.
what? I'll do you one better. Say I died tomorrow and I just completely was wiped away. I wouldn't know that something exists because I'd be dead.
Okay, cool.
So
But that doesn't
would
just
be another
because you
proof
don't know
that
something
that
doesn't
there is
mean
no
it's not
absolute
there.
truth.
No, dude, but you understand it's not something isn't only true because you believe in it. It's not only true because you
So then
believe
why
in
are
it.
you Christian?
Wait, if it's
Oh
only
man.
true if you believe in it, that's dumb. Is it like only
So
true if I believe in it? Is that only true if I believe in
to
it?
a faith argument. Okay.
Uh,
So it has to be true if you believe it's true. We're getting into circular reasoning
wait, I'm
here.
not
Oh,
saying
boy.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying
you are. You
no.
say that's
I'm
basically
saying
okay.
that's a
Yeah. Oh,
dumb. That's what you're saying. That is what you are saying. You are saying if I just cease to exist, or if you died and you would never know that, that does not mean that
because I
something
couldn't
doesn't
verify it. If
exist.
everyone died
Okay,
tomorrow, we
cool,
couldn't
cool.
verify it.
But just because you cannot, just because you don't believe in it or can't see it or can't experience it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I
That's
don't know about
dumb.
that.
That's like saying if I don't believe in gravity, I will just float away.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's
I'm
kind of
saying
what
that
you're
there is
saying.
no absolute truth. You can't just say, well, things exist, so therefore that's such a vague semantical argument that means pretty much nothing. That's not going to get you to believing God exists. That's just going to be a philosophical argument of solipsism, probably at the absolute most.
So repeat that.
Solipsism. It's probably pretty much the only thing that's going to disrupt that, because I don't think that saying something exists is going to get you to God. So I fail to see how this is going to
Well, you
prove
can.
theism.
You have yet to really like try to counter me on my my argument of
Theism?
finite days and super powerful timeless spaceless being of the universe.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, for
I would like to see a counter on that.
I don't know. I just still find it funny that you have to do all of this, and this, the best you got is something exists. I'm pretty sure if an all
Wait,
powerful
what?
God exists with a decline in his religion, would be giving his followers a little bit better ability to be more intellectually persuasive.
Wait, but
Something
wait, where are
exists,
you
and
getting that
therefore God.
from? Wait, what?
Something
Why do you
exists,
believe that?
therefore God.
That's not what I'm saying.
I mean, I've been asking.
I mean,
How's this going to get you to God?
I pointed. I'm saying a lot of arguments that you make are self-defeating, and I started going off a list of a lot of arguments atheists try to make that are self-defeating, and then you said,
You talked
well,
about
that's
absolute
right,
truth.
there are no absolute truths, and I just
There
said,
are not.
and I just proved you wrong on that.
No, because you basically brought up a semantical philosophical argument.
Wait, yeah, of course I brought up a philosophical argument. What is?
Because
Wait, is
because you don't have
philosophy
any
not a
empirical
legitimate
evidence.
argument?
I mean, when we're talking about proving a God exists, yes, kind of.
No,
Because we're not
philosophy is
getting
very
into
important to
philosophy.
that.
Not really. I'm pretty
Wait,
sure
so
you
what
can't get
is? What is then?
empirical evidence. There's no
Dude, you
empirical evidence for
cannot
God
be
existing.
serious.
Yeah.
You want
Okay.
empirical evidence
So
for God existing.
there isn't any. There's no miracles, no nothing.
Wait.
You're
How do you know that? How do you know that?
something.
How do you know
And
that
then you
there's no
interrupt me as I'm
miracle?
talking. Oh man. So anyway, I'm pretty sure your argument of something exists is basically based on the
Dude, you're
things
arguing with a
exist,
straw man
which
right now.
I'm trying to get to this. So it's not even a straw man because I don't know how I could straw man this. It's as vague as possible. Something exists. What does
Uh-huh.
that mean? Matter exists. Okay, matter exists.
It
It can
means
actually
that
be
there's
converted into
absolute.
energy.
It means
So
that
then it
there's
wouldn't be
absolute
energy.
truth.
So then you'd have to talk about in terms of it becoming all energy. Okay, what if it becomes matter again? See, that's not an absolute truth.
Wait, what? Something exists is an absolute
Oh
truth.
my god.
Because energy exists and you can't
Do
destroy it.
I have to repeat myself?
Huh?
Do
Dude,
have to
I
repeat
just went
myself?
over and you're not disproving my argument.
Yes, I am, because every time I talk about this, you always interrupt me about 5 seconds in. So basically, as I was stating, that something exists. You don't go into detail as to what.
I
We
don't
can
need to go into
extrapolate matter.
detail. I don't
Okay,
need to go into
and
detail.
then you interrupt me again. Gosh. I'm beginning to think that maybe you're just not confident at this at all because you're not letting me finish anything at all.
Dude, okay, sure. I'll let you go on your
All right.
rants about
Great.
repeating yourself. I'm interrupting you because you've already said this.
No, I haven't.
Okay, go.
Because
Oh,
you
okay,
asked
whatever.
me
All right,
questions
go
about
again.
it.
Go again. Don't
All
repeat
right,
it.
all right. I'm going to go. So, the argument of something exists, I don't even think I could even strawman that. That's as vague as it gets and as vague as possible. So, if we could extrapolate that from assuming, which I hate doing because that's where you get into strawman territory, if it's all matter exists, okay, matter is physical, and energy is not. Well, kind of, but it's different from energy. So, if, I don't know, say, Thanos were to just show up, snap his fingers, and then, it'd be lights out for the universe, and it was all converted to energy. Then it'd be all converted to energy, and therefore something exists would be really just silly. Because then, if it was extrapolated to mean physical matter, well, it's not physical matter anymore. It's all energy now. Hell, your omnipotent being could descend from the earth and just do snap of the fingers, and literally nothing could exist. So if God exists,
Cool.
then your absolute truth doesn't exist. It's something existing because God could
No,
just
if
destroy the
God,
universe
hold
tomorrow.
on. No, because if
Yeah,
God
yeah.
exists, then He is an absolute truth.
Well, it would disprove your argument of something existing, and
Okay,
I
cool.
don't think that
But
something
I'm
existing.
applying your logic to itself.
Not really.
I am.
No. I was merely explaining how this would disprove your argument of something
Okay,
existing.
but it didn't because by saying
did, because you
in
could-
my worldview, if God exists, that means there is absolute truth.
I was speaking
And if God
hypothetically,
doesn't exist, but I know I'm saying, but if God doesn't exist, there's also absolute truth. There's absolute truth in both worlds.
No, because it would disprove your argument.
Come on.
I was speaking hypothetically. So, hell, maybe, how about this? To satisfy your autistic desire, I'll say that a very, very high level, what was it? I think it was stage 4. I don't know. You've probably seen the Kuts Goes Up video about it. A being who is not quite God, but as close to God as it could get. They could exist, and they could just decide, well, we found a way to make nothing exist, and then nothing exists. Guess what? Your God is BTFO.
Hey,
BTFO.
we're not fucking getting anywhere with that.
Oh, but we are, because I imagine
so you still want to continue on this?
I'm continuing because I wasn't done talking. So, if in this hypothetical scenario, these alien creatures have decided that they don't want anything to exist because fuck it, we've been waiting too long. Because there are definitely higher level entities out there. They could just do that, and then your God would have done it. If he even exists. If he doesn't exist, then nothing exists, disproving you, and God doesn't exist, further disproving you. Sorry. That's just the way it is.
What are you talking about? Okay, dude.
I'm not the one talking about an omnipotent being I can't prove. So I think if aliens exist with higher levels of ability, then yeah, I think we're really gonna have to.
Okay, so
you're talking
you're
hypotheticals
trying.
too.
No. Exactly, but what you're trying to tell me is that for some reason, like you don't have burden of proof yet your for your worldview to work, literally nothing produces everything. Non-life produces life. Randomness produces fine-tuning. Chaos produces information.
You know what?
Unconsciousness produces consciousness, and non-reason produces reason.
Okay, we get it.
Why should I have enough faith to be an atheist?
All right. So one thing we have that you don't is physical evidence. If you'd like to have physical evidence that you can touch in your hand and look at, take pictures of, and even taste it, if you want to prove that it exists, you can go all the way down to, I think it was Colorado, and look at some of those dig sites. You can take a gander at all those bones that Satan's been putting in the ground to, convert the non-believers.
Dude, but again, I never made that claim, so stop bringing it up.
Okay, again, that's good you say that because I wasn't done talking. And there's all kinds of stuff. You could go and observe amoebas evolving because, well, that'd be more proof of evolution existing. I think you said you were not sold on evolution existing, correct?
I think there's a possibility of it existing, and I don't deny
possibility. Well, I feel like that with all this absolute truth, I'm pretty sure your God would have told you. And
dude,
I don't know, it just seems silly that. Well, if you're kind of wishy-washy on it, it's like, well, then why don't you consult the Bible that doesn't talk about it much at all? I don't know, guy. But anyway, we have physical evidence. You can physically see stuff evolving if you live long enough. And you can also look at
Wait,
radiocarbon
so
dating.
which
They have
evolution
all
theory are
kinds
you
of stuff
talking
to
about?
prove.
Because there's a ton of them.
I mean, evolutionary theories.
Yeah, there's like a ton of theories of evolution. Which one are you referring to?
I don't know. Whichever one believes in survival of the fittest, because that one makes
there's
a little bit more
there's
sense.
several of them.
I don't know why I have to get. I don't know why you're being so obtuse and pedantic about this. I don't know. Whichever one describes whatever it is I'm about to talk about. How about that?
You're talking about Darwin's theory of evolution. That's the most commonly accepted one.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't think Darwin is necessarily wrong.
Okay, great. So we could probably agree that the dinosaurs existed, and them being on the ark is kind of silly.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. We have all kinds of tangible evidence. I mean, what do you have as for tangible evidence? Philosophical
For?
papers? Cool.
Wait, for tangible evidence for?
God.
Well, yeah. Why do you think science would be able to like get empirical evidence? Science is about this like investigating natural phenomena and natural events.
There's
So
physical science.
how can science investigate the supernatural?
We don't have that. We have quantum science, which is more about metaphysics and stuff.
Quantum science is
I guess
retarded.
you could call that supernatural because it's more.
Quantum is
So
not
it is.
supernatural. Quantum mechanics and quantum
That's
science
why
is
I
not
said it in
supernatural.
quotation marks,
Okay, cool, but science that's still like again.
because it's
If
not
you're asking for
technically-
empirical evidence, like when you say when you like, I hear people say, "Oh, there's no evidence for God's existence." Well, what do you mean by evidence?
Empirical.
If a
I don't know
spaceless,
how
timeless,
specific I can get.
immaterial, powerful, intelligent, moral creator actually existed, what kind of evidence would you expect to detect from him? That assertion is so false.
No,
There's a
because we have
plethora of evidence for the existence of God. We know God by his effects. And three of the major effects of God,
we can
like, dude.
Okay, go on. Sorry, I'll just let you finish.
Okay. There, the beginning of the universe. We can talk about the cosmological argument, the fine tuning of the universe, and the design of life, and the existence of objective moral values. Now, we could go on and on and on and on and on about it, but the assertion that there is no evidence for God is so false.
I haven't really necessarily asserted it. It's just that's my conclusion from what you've been talking about. You said yourself that God's unable to perceive and all that. It's like, okay, so you have literally zero empirical
But
evidence. That's great.
I don't need empirical evidence.
You don't need empirical evidence. You need faith, and you need the faith to believe.
You need faith to be an
okay.
atheist.
So you have to have faith.
I'm going to ask you. Hold on. I want to ask you. Where is the evidence that the universe is spontaneous, causeless, sourceless, purposeless, and meaningless?
I'm not sure what a paper was written on it, but
yeah, I would like empirical evidence for that.
I'm pretty sure the paper is somewhere. Oh, there's
only like 7 minutes left. Synthetic, would you be okay with another person talking to you for a little bit after this? It's like for a little
No. I said 7 o'clock. But yeah, I guess I'll give you the NASA's version, the Big Bang. I don't think it necessarily talks about.
But the Big Bang points to a crater.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, you understand? Before the Big Bang, atheists had no issue saying the universe always existed. Until the Big Bang, which was theorized by a Catholic priest, because the Big Bang, because it had a beginning, therefore, according to the law of causality, it must have had a cause.
Pretty sure that's not how that works.
I'm pretty sure that's what the law of causality means. Everything that has a beginning has a cause. It's cause and effect.
Yeah, I'm very aware.
Okay, cool. So if the Big began, if the universe had a beginning, therefore it must have a cause.
Okay, but that doesn't prove God. That just says
What the
something.
wait, no, but it proves a spaceless, timeless, immaterial, and
Now
super
we're using the
powerful.
God of the gaps argument.
It proves a spaceless, timeless, and immaterial, super powerful thing, which is really what God is.
This is the God of the gaps argument because we can't exactly point to him. We can't. There's no. You need to leave his signature. There's no physical proof of that. You're basically just saying, well, something had to have done it, therefore God.
No, but I'm saying that the attributes of that thing that might know, because we know exactly the attributes of what had to do it. Spaceless because it pre-exists space, timeless because it pre-exists time, immaterial because it pre-exists material.
Very aware that's how
those are all characteristics of the biblical God.
Okay, but that's just a God of the gaps argument. There, you know.
Okay. Well, do you have a counter argument to that, or are you just going to say, well, it's not enough for me?
I mean, that my counter is that it's baseless and really doesn't have much merit to it. That's my counter. If I just decided to counter every single argument that was just fully made all the time, it's like, okay, I'd be
I want you, right? Because atheism is making a claim.
Not really. It's more of a.
We went over this at the start of the debate. It's a claim that the universe is able to be explained without God, which I have yet to see any proof of that. I have yet to see any proof that the universe can be explained without God.
Like I said, the Big Bang stuff, it's more of in progress.
Okay, what caused the Big Bang?
From what I understand, I'm not an astrologist, so I can't probably begin to even extrapolate it, but I know it's not this silly abiogenesis stuff. What I could probably say is that we had probably a mess of atoms, and they collided, and boom, and then everything happened.
Oh yeah, so the reason that argument fails to add up is that those are material things, therefore time applies to it. Therefore, it logically falls apart because today exists. If this matter always existed, then there would have been an infinite number of days before today could have not have gotten here. So there would have had to be something immaterial before that. Matter couldn't have always existed.
With time, we have to have change, so I don't really think that we can have that. Pretty sure time starts when everything starts, and with change, we had time starting from that point. It's very, very easy to explain.
No. Time is the progression of existence.
That's
something. If something exists, no, it doesn't necessarily have to be changed. As long as something exists, time applies to it. It's moving through time.
I'm pretty sure that's more of a philosophical argument.
That's not a philosophical argument. That is the literal definition of time. Here. How about this? How about I pull up Wikipedia? Okay, here.
Wikipedia. Yes.
The Jews are controlling the definition of time. I'm sure.
No. I'm not a JQ person. Okay.
All right. So time is the indefinite continued progress of existence and events that occur in apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present into the future. That's what time is. The progression of existence in its most simple form. Therefore, if matter exists in a physical, if matter exists in a physical space, time applies to it. Time isn't some physical thing. It isn't some dimension. It is literally just the progression of existence.
Okay, still be able to see that's empirical evidence.
Dude, I don't need empirical evidence. Neither do you. I'm not asking. No, because I've explained to you I would like empirical evidence for atheism, and you've yet to prove.
I've showed you carbon dating.
But carbon dating isn't empirical evidence. Carbon dating isn't empirical evidence for spontaneous, sourceless, causeless, purposeless, meaningless existence.
So you're telling me that if I didn't have the money, if I had the money, I could have you and I go to Colorado and start digging, you're going to tell me
Dude,
that's not
I don't.
empirical evidence.
I'm talking about
Those
stuff that
bones don't
predates
exist.
the Earth.
They're
I'm
put
talking
here
about
by
stuff
Satan.
I'm talking about stuff that predates the Earth. Again, I've repeated this before. Is that what
predates the
you're
Earth, so it's
claiming?
not
What
empirical
you're
because it's not
claiming?
physical.
Hold on. What you are claiming is that nothing produces everything. Non-life produces life. Randomness
1 hour
produces
mark.
fine-tuning. Chaos produces information, and unconsciousness produces consciousness. And for that reason, I simply do not have enough faith to be an atheist. That's my closing
Okay,
remark.
well, that's kind of the end. That's the 1 hour mark.
Oh, okay.
So anything you guys want to say?
That's it.
I think my closing remarks, it would be that if there's still no empirical evidence, there's still a lack of an explanation for the argument from silence, since it was more just about how lovely the trees are and something about the Big Bang, the miracle of life. I don't know. The miracle of life can just, I don't know. It just kind of came from nothing. I mean, science can explain it, so it's not exactly a miracle. It's explained by science.
Science cannot explain it.
That's not exactly. I mean, I'm pretty sure we might be able to explain it with the whole Big Bang, probably within our lifetime. But I think this NASA article really points out what I was talking about. But you didn't read it, so it's just whatever.
Well,
Okay,
you
well,
didn't,
do you
but
have
whatever.
any closing statements, Jeff? Or anything you want to say?
Yeah. So basically, atheism is an illogical belief that the universe can be explained without God, and in conclusion, it also needs evidence. Atheists like to take the stance of Christians having the burden of proof, yet they are claiming the universe can function without God, which is a claim in itself. It's not just a mere lack of belief. It's a claim that the universe is spontaneous, causeless, sourceless, purposeless, and existence is meaningless.
You say so.
Oh yeah. So Synthetic, there was someone who wanted to ask you a few questions. Can you just not like a debate, just asking you some stuff. Can you do it?
Um.
Real quick. It shouldn't be that long.
I guess.
Okay. You can go, Brig.
Who's gonna go?
Okay.
Oh, Brigadier said he wanted to go. He might not be at his computer at the second. Exactly.
Okay.
He said he wanted to go. So I don't know if he.
Well, I'll give him to the count of whatever my PlayStation starts up. So.
All right, that nigga's not here. So I got a question, right? So Synthetic, how can change occur without time?
Because you can. That's a philosophical argument. Without time,
No,
I guess without
it's
time, I
honestly
guess-
not. No, it's really
It
not.
really is because time and change are philosophical, metaphysical.
They're not. They're
Okay,
physical,
they are literal terms. All right, to describe a natural process. Right now, let's say we can let's void those. Let's get rid of those. So something occurs after something else. Certainly, right? Time is indefinite. It's always happening. Things cannot. If time is frozen, things cannot change. Does that make sense? If there is no time, there is no movement throughout actual space and shit. We cannot change. We cannot move. We can do nothing. There is no change.
We can have time without change, but we can have change without time.
You cannot, because time isn't a physical thing. The thing is, to have time, you need to have something physical, which means that physical thing will change through
Literally
time.
change.
It will change through time. So that's why time cannot exist without matter, and matter cannot exist without time. That's just logical.
I mean, I guess we're going to have to look that up in Genesis because I don't think he invented time at any point.
I'm pretty sure it speaks about it in Genesis, but that is irrelevant because it can be presupposed. We have logically realized that it is necessary to have time.
Yeah, hold on. I'm in the King James Bible, and I'm on chapters of Genesis. Let's see.
Well, I don't want this debate to continue going on.
All right,
I'd like to debate you, dude, one day. I'd like to debate you whenever you can.
This nigga's gonna go into Genesis and he's not gonna find anything, and then he's gonna be like, "Oh, well, it's not in here."
By the way, with the Genesis thing, I'm pretty sure in Genesis,
not gonna ask questions. Whatever.
I'm pretty sure, by the way, in Genesis it talks about each day what happened.
Yeah, of course, of 7 days. But that was probably over an inordinate amount of time that's not specified at all. Very convenient.
It isn't about convenience because there couldn't be 7 days
dude, hold on.
without the concept of days.
I hope you're joking, but you understand in the verse you just posted, it literally talks about time.
It talks about days and nights, not time specifically.
That's what it means.
Do you understand?
That's what time is,
do you
man.
know what the beginning
No,
is?
that's
the
past-
beginning.
that's
The
Wait, no,
beginning
no.
is a
No.
point in time, dude.
Yo, wait.
That's the circling of the sun. That's not.
Yeah,
No, no,
but
no,
it
no,
cannot
no, no,
move,
no,
it
no,
cannot
no,
move.
no,
hell no.
Hell no, because he said this shit in the beginning. He said this shit in the beginning.
No, he's gone. He's
Nah,
gone.
he's
I
fucking
banned him.
gone.
I'm done.
That
I banned
actually
him.
made
I
me
banned
fucking
him.
mad.
I banned him, dude. He's retarded.
That is some shit.
I wiped the floor.
Dude, I don't
honestly.
know, man. You should have gone in harder. The dude was like just getting too much talk time.
This nigga, bruh. And then
Oh,
he
I don't
started to
care.
get
I
all
didn't
he
need
started
it,
to get boastful at the end of that shit. He had me about to this nigga, bruh. He
I'm
said
breathing.
the circling of the sun, my guy.
Wiped the floor with him, dude.
Wait, I'm reading.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. From a spectator point of view, I mean, I know you basically won because you provided no logic, but I think you should have gone in harder on the guy because
Well, I
he was
could
just
have,
retarded.
but again,
Yo, gang, wait.
it's I try to be respectful.